Ladies and gentlemen, this woman's name is Karen Flett. And she said she became addicted to steroid cream. This is definitely a first, y'all. Now, I've known people to use steroid cream. Sorry about that. I've known people to use steroid creams for one reason or another, but I have never heard of them getting an addiction from it. But this woman says she did. She became addicted. So let's get into it, y'all. So, a woman who was addicted to steroid creams for 40 years claims it's worse than heroin. So, a woman who was addicted to steroid creams has claimed they're worse than heroin after using them for 40 years to tackle painful eczema. Karen Flett, 52 years old, has suffered from eczema on her face, hands, and around her joints at the age of 11 and was prescribed topical steroid creams. And yes, I know what that is. And in fact, at one point in time, I had to use something like that, but I don't recall becoming addicted to it. Ever since, she'd rely on the medication to soothe the itchy, inflamed skin, but says she's now decided to quit after being after beginning to experience sweats and rashes similar to menopausal symptoms. So she was a beauty therapist, and she said it's left her in agony when she stopped using the cream and went cold turkey last September, saying her body went into a full blown topical steroid withdrawal as she developed a burning rash all over her body and experienced the shakes and sweats. Flett, who was unable to work and housebound for 6 months, said water felt like acid on her skin, which was so itchy it felt like she might tear herself to the bone. So she even resorted to wearing a full bodysuit. She wore bandages to just cover up her skin to ease the itchiness and to keep her weeping face from sticking to the pillow. So at 45, I started to worry about one thing. The only thing I thought steroids did to you, which was thin your skin. I started thinking, right, I need to use these less. I was going into bouts of withdrawal, getting these severe symptoms such as the shakes and sweats. I had symptoms similar to menopause. I went away in September and decided not to take my steroid cream and went into a full blown withdrawal. I had a burning rash from my feet and all over my body. She said my face was on fire. It was swollen. My eyes were really hard to open. They were swollen. I went off my food and I started going into full blown shakes. When I traveled home, my clothes stuck to my skin. I blistered from my calf up to my back, and I could feel the fluid running down my leg. When I got home, my husband had to help me into the shower and had to rip the clothes off my skin. She added, I've always been a mother who likes my hair and makeup and get my lashes done, my nails, and look my best, especially on a night when she would go out. She added, I've always, um, you know, she said she always felt confident in everything. And she said now this whole thing has left her with no confidence, and you don't know how you're ever going to get back to the person you were. So she got 3 children, and for the first 4 to 6 months was worse as her body is just crying out for it. It was likened to being worse than a heroin addict. That that's how she describes it. Wow. She said, I get a deep and absolute bone itch with topical steroid withdrawal. It was absolutely agony if you feel like you can tear yourself down to the bone. Flett is now sharing images of her painful, itchy skin to help raise awareness of the potential dangers of long term use of topical steroid creams. Yeah, well, I think 40 years is way too long. So she describes topical steroids as drugs, saying, I wasn't a drug addict by choice. 7 months on, Flett believes she is finally healing well, but is calling on the medical profession to prescribe steroids with caution. You were only ever told it can, thin the skin. And she said, no, it does way more than that. Mm-mm-mm. They didn't say don't use it for a month, don't use it for a year, don't use it for decades. So I used it for decades. 4 decades. Can you imagine that? Using a drug that long? That's a long time. I just don't think that it should be given to children or babies to put on their skin. I'm waiting on a flare up happening again, and I'm trying to keep my stress levels down. But it has destroyed me and my family, Flett added. I can now see a future of not having inflamed, painful skin that will stop me from doing stuff in my life. Maybe the last part of my life is not going to be dictated by a skin condition that was caused by drugs. Wow. Mm-mm-mm. That is something else. And she says she's got to cover up her skin. I just can't imagine. But again, like I said, I never, I've known people on steroids. Even when I was going to grade school, there were a couple of kids that were on steroid creams. And this is the first time I didn't know you could have an addiction from it. Y'all, please tell me what you think about this video. This is crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.